Hey, what's up, rock stars? It's Rox with a little bit of talk about what's at the top of the blogs. So let's get to it. All right, you guys. So before we get to the full of fucking niggatry of the day, and I say that because we are not talking about anything serious today. I just cannot. I just don't feel like it. I'm not in that mood. However, we will do our Rona check-in today because that's what we do, making sure that you guys are all okay. As for me and the It's Rox household, we have escaped the grips of the disease, or the virus, I should say, once again, okay? But boy, it's getting increasingly difficult as we see the numbers are rising exponentially. I think they said California had 9,700 cases in one day. We are up to the point now where we're getting 48,000 cases a day nationwide. It's just, we knew it was coming because of a combination of things. They started to open up things, I thought, prematurely, with no real plan in place to keep things safe. People were just told to social distance, but it was left up to the businesses to figure out how that was going to be accomplished. The holidays hit us. Memorial Day, people were out and enjoying themselves a little too closely. And then, of course, the rioting, the protesting, that all happened right after the holiday. And I think a combination of all of those things is why we are at the place that we are today. So many people out and around each other, and some with masks, some without masks. You know, here we are, okay? And then, of course, you have to mention that the stupidity of the leadership of this country, okay, YSAP, has made it so that many people have just figured that they gonna do their own thing and they don't necessarily even have to, you know, they don't even have to abide by the rules. I mean, you know, he said that he just hopes that it'll just go away. That's what he thinks anyway. You know, it'll just sort of disappear, okay? He's definitely a, you know, the put your head in the sand type of nigga. And that doesn't always work, obviously. So that is what's going on right now. We're trying to figure out if the kids are going to be going back to school. You know, Joe's school is saying that they're going to have hybrid classes. Jada's school hasn't said one way or the other if they're coming back. The intention is that they will be, but as these numbers get higher and higher and higher, you know, of course we're going to be back on lockdown, and I just honestly don't know. Everybody's in limbo. Still don't know for a fact if the kids are going to be back to, you know, elementary, middle school, and high school level, if they're going every day. Some places say they're going to go every other day. Some places say they'll have the option to go in person or do it all online. I mean, it's just a bumblefuck when it comes to education, period. Nobody really knows anything. So that also is frustrating. I know it's frustrating for parents out there who don't really know what they're going to do with their kids, if their kids are still home in August, September, and then they have to go back to work, and who's going to be watching all these damn kids. And, you know, it's a lot to think about. Yeah, you guys, this Rona is not going anywhere. It's something that I think we're going to have to learn to try to figure out how to live with. And people are just going to have to get more serious about this social distancing. Washing your hands, wearing your mask, not touching, you know, not being all up on people. I mean, just all of the basics of what they told us from the beginning. I still believe that those are the things that keep us the safest. I know there's different strains. I know there's a lot that's going on as far as the virus changing, mutating, and all of that. But for the most part, I think that if everybody would just practice safer, you know, ways in their lifestyle, maybe we can get back to where we were, at the beginning of May, when the numbers were going down. Now, the good thing about it, even though the numbers are rising, the deaths are getting lower, okay? But they're also afraid that that'll change with this surge. You know, it'll be inevitable. Also, they're saying that the older generation is starting to take more care of themselves and making sure that they social distance themselves. And now we have the younger generation are the ones that are finding themselves coming down with the illness. Again, that also is a reason why there aren't as many deaths, because there's younger people who have stronger immune systems and can handle it. But still, the whole goal is for not to be having coronavirus, period. Okay, they don't say we would rather have younger people get it than older people. They say we would rather nobody had it. So That's what's going on with the Rona check-in. I hope you and yours are okay. You're being safe. That's all I can ask for, is that you're being safe. All right, you guys. So the first story that we are talking about today, you have to be under a rock if you didn't know what I was going to open it up with today, you guys. Let's talk about Will, more specifically Jada, and August Alsina. Now, if you have been watching me for any length of time, then you have known that I have talked about this at length a few times, okay? I talked about it long before people were even saying that something was going on with August Alsina and Jada Pinkett Smith, but I could remember way back, I guess somewhere around 2015, when they're saying that they actually met each other. Supposedly he came to a concert that Will and Jada's kids were giving, and he was going there to see them, and that's when he was introduced to Jada Pinkett Smith. They hit it off immediately. Next thing we know, we would see him in pictures with the family, okay? Well, actually, you wouldn't see them with the family. You would see him with Jada and the kids. Never really Will around. You would see him with her. You would see him with her and her mom when they would go on vacations. They would take him along. You know, he was definitely a part of that family. And I always gave it a side eye. I thought it was very, very strange that they would take this boy in like this. But then people were saying, well, Roxanne, you know, he's had a really rough life. He had a lot of death in his family. We all know the, the trauma that he comes from. And him basically feeling like death was surrounding him as he was losing siblings. He had a horrible relationship with his mother, and pretty much blamed everything bad that happened to him in his life on his mom. And he seemed so depressed all the time that it was actually a nice change to see him in pictures with the Smith family, smiling, enjoying himself. You know, he was definitely in there. But I always had a side eye, and I've always told you guys that. Fast forward from that time to maybe a couple of years ago, August got into his feelings and expressed in song, basically a song about Jada Pinkett Smith, okay? He has been trying to really kind of blow the lid on this whole story for a while now, and they have managed to bury it, okay? But I know a few years ago on Top of the Blogs, I told you guys again at length about him not only making a song about her and making the verse about her. I actually should have got the song. I should have actually gotten it so I could have read the words to you guys. Maybe I'll still try to look it up. He released text messages. Remember, there were text messages that were released between him and Jada where it looked like she was finally trying to break it off with him. And he, I guess, was feeling used. And it was definitely a lover's quarrel. It was out there, you guys. The text messages were out there and the song was out there. Let me see if I can figure out what the name of the song was. Hold on, let me just check real quick. You can actually go on YouTube and watch the video for Nunya where actually August Alsina leaks the text messages, which I actually believe are the actual text messages between him and Jada Pinkett Smith, where she is reaching out to him and at first he is ignoring her, you know, and she actually is asking him, why is he doing her like this? And he's basically at that point where he wants to say, like, why do you keep even reaching out to me? Leave me alone. She's asking him about who he's seeing now. And he was like, why are you even concerned about who I'm having sex with? He talks about how good it is when she pleases him. And, you know, she goes off on him and says, fuck you and all that. I mean, it's definitely a lover's spat where it looks like he is trying to disconnect himself from Jada and she's having a hard time letting it go. Okay, he doesn't even seem like he really wants to let it go, but he's letting it go because he's just trying to move it on along. But yeah, this all came out a few years ago, and for whatever reason, it didn't pick up as much steam as it could have. The Smith family has been very good at burying stories. We know that their names have been out there for years and years and years, that they are swingers and that they actually both have a proclivity to sleep with other people. Now, even though they have never come out and said that 100%, As the Smith family has come out and said more and more about their relationship, they have made it very clear that they are now a partner. They don't even call themselves married anymore. This is something that they are in for the long haul, that they love each other. However, this is a partnership, okay? This is just what it is. Nobody is ever leaving, and this is what it is. So, I have always assumed that the agreement with the two of them is that if they have this certain need to explore other people, it needed to be extremely covert. People did not need to know about it. They needed to pick people that they knew that would be safe enough, that they wouldn't have to worry about, people that have a lot to lose. I'm sure that these are all the qualifications that would probably come into, when you're trying to trust your marriage in the hands of somebody else, an outsider. So over the years, there have been stories and certain ideas that they have seen other people. Of course, Will Smith, there's always been question about Dwayne Martin. There's been question about Eva Mendes. I know Jada Pinkett Smith was tied to Mark Anthony at one time. Remember when they were on that show together, and then all of a sudden that show broke up? And people were saying it was because that Jada Pinkett Smith and Mark Anthony was having something going on. It was hot and heavy on the set, and that ended up blowing up Mark Anthony's relationship. Shortly after that, him and Jennifer Lopez broke up. But also, we know that Will Smith is good friends with Mark Anthony, and so listen. It's so much shit that probably goes on in the Smith family. Things that have happened, but I think that those two have always been on the same page. They are not going to break up. They just going to engage in what they engage in, but at the end of the day, they're going to be back together, for each other. And as long as it's discreet, we don't have to worry about it. Well, on that fateful day in 2015, when Jada Pinkett Smith meets August Alsina, she has met a kid who, and I say a kid because when you my age and you fucking around with this young man, okay, who is obviously very impressionable, who has been through a lot, who is broken in many ways, I feel like Jada may have even kind of preyed on that because he was so enamored by her. Jada Pinkett Smith is deep, and she, when she talks to you, she makes you feel very involved, and I'm sure he was sucked up into that, that grown woman talk that we could have. He was infatuated, and it obviously became, if you ask me, an obsession, because next thing you know, when this Nunya thing came out, it was obvious that it was all falling apart, okay? It had then ran its course. He was probably feeling like he finally realized that him and Jada not gonna be together. She not leaving Will no matter what. And he was getting frustrated and trying to just break it off. But with all this other drama that's going on in the background, also the death of his sister, that came, on top of the death of his other family members, like, it was a straw that broke the camel's back. August Alsina was going through so much. Right after that Nunya song came out, that's when he started having the his immune system started to break down, and he got really, really sick. And remember, he couldn't walk and he couldn't talk. He was in the hospital. Remember, he was doing the videos and letting us see. Okay. So, I 100% believe that August Alsina and Jada Pinkett Smith were having something going on. I believe that she really enjoyed him, and I believe that he really loved her, okay? But as the love started to get way too big, it probably got to the point where Jada was like, okay, I need to break this off, all right? And in the meantime, he's suffering in silence because he has to be quiet because he agreed to be in this relationship with this married woman, like this really married woman that everybody knows. Okay, everybody loves her husband. He's a big time movie actor, and just an all around general good guy. You don't hear bad stories about Will Smith. So he's over here kind of being the bad guy when he was a part of the, when it was the agreement. Why is everybody looking at me as the bad guy when we all agreed that we were doing this. Well, the problem is, August Alsina, is you are now spilling the beans. And the kiss and tell motherfucker is no good, you know, especially when you guys had already agreed. So now he's got this album coming out. He's got this documentary, or I guess the album is out. The documentary is out, State of Emergency. It's a 27-song album. It's a documentary that's followed his life for the last however many years. And he's just documenting everything that has happened. He's talking about everything that has happened. And on top of that, as a promo for this album and this documentary, he did an interview with Angela Yee from The Breakfast Club, which actually was a good interview for Angela Yee. You know, she didn't have them damn Charlemagne and Envy, you know, talking over her and saying some old reckless shit that don't nobody care about, you know. But she gave an interview with him that, for most part, was a good interview. You know, August Alsina, with all of his bad decisions that he's made, he's a smart kid. And I think that he has gotten so consumed in trying to feel every single thing that has happened in his life that it has pretty much broken down his body. And now he's kind of on the recovery. He's on the mend. He's trying to get back to himself. He's trying to be happy and all of this. But it was so clear throughout that video that really the only thing that he gets super emotional about is still Jada Pinkett Smith. That woman, obviously, he was in love obsessively with, and she broke him all the way down. When the conversation came up about Jada Pinkett Smith, that you could tell he physically changed. His voice got shaky, his hands got shaky, and he made the decision to say that he sat down with Will Smith and they actually, you know, he kind of gave his blessing. He never said he gave me his blessing to sleep with his wife. What he said was, Will Smith gave me the blessing, you know, as they had discussed that they had, transformed their marriage from a marriage traditional to a partnership, and there was no romanticism there. You know, there was no romantical element there. Okay, basically they're homies, brothers and sisters, okay, living together, loving each other, but that part was gone. So it's allowed that he's able to, you know, that she's able to go out and, you know, get that from somebody else. Well, August Alsina happened to be that person, you know, and he goes on to say, like, he loved her with his whole everything, you know. And listen, anybody who's been in love, like, I feel like the first time that you are truly in love is when you love the hardest. That's usually when your heart gets broken the worst, okay? And then with each person that you meet after that, who you do fall in love with again, you keep a little bit of yourself, because you realize that you cannot fully give yourself 100% to somebody who, you know, it's not safe for you to give yourself so completely to somebody who might not care for you that same way, you know. So I believe that Jada Pinkett Smith obviously was his first real 100% love, you know, and that she was the one that had him basically by the balls. Like he you know, he was there. He was there. They definitely had a relationship. You know, people were like, you know, I don't believe it. I don't think that Will Smith would approve that. You know, why don't you believe that? You know, things happen in Hollywood. People have arrangements all the time. You know, marriages, yes, there's plenty traditional marriages, and there's some that aren't, and things that work in other marriages that keep people together all this time, you know. And it might be this. Some people will even say that it's not natural for people to only have sex with one person for the rest of their lives. Some will say that that's why it's such a struggle to be monotonous, to be a person that doesn't cheat, because it's not natural to a human being to always just be with one person. So if you link up with somebody else who thinks that same way, then you guys can definitely make this marriage work. You know, we love each other, but you can still go out and have sex with other people and things like that. To me, it's like, why would you get married if that's what you're going to do? But people do it all the time. People do it all the time. What also made me feel like, okay, he's definitely, something is happening here, is when the fires were going on in Calabasas. You guys remember he had put out a video from his house that basically his backyard was on fire. He was like literally trying to get his stuff together so he can get out of there. I was watching that video and thinking to myself, like, how can he afford to live in Calabasas? You guys, Calabasas is like fucking high. Like, this is where the Smiths live. This is where the Kardashians lived. I don't think they lived, you know, I think some of them lived there. You know, this is like big money. And not the money that August Alsina was making. So when I saw that he was actually in a house out there, I was like, who bought that house for him? You know? And then, of course, in my head, I was like, ding, ding, ding. Okay, Jada. All of this, of course, is just me speculating, but for sure, you guys, I believe it. I had so many people in my DMs yesterday saying, you don't believe that, do you? Oh my God, I can't, you know, he's just lying, or, you know, he didn't say anything about them having sex together, you know, or he, you know, Will wouldn't approve that. Will is doing his own thing. Will is smart enough, though, to pick women that's not, or men, if, you know, if you think that. But Will is smart enough to pick partners that have some shit to lose. Or either he done paid them enough money for them to keep quiet, or they have signed an NDA, or maybe a combination of all of these things. I, for the life of me, can't understand why they didn't give August Alsina an NDA, but something tells me that they truly underestimated him. She thought that she had him under her thumb, and now the nigga then went rogue. Just basically spilled the beans. Now, of course, it's been all the talk in Hollywood. I even saw it on Entertainment Tonight. I put it on my stories yesterday. And anytime Entertainment Tonight is talking about, I mean, this is like mainstream media. This is not just like, you know, regular black folks social media, Shade Room, Baller Alert, Jasmine Brand, all of these that we see on Instagram. Now we talking about Entertainment Tonight. Hollywood execs are watching this shit. Music execs are watching this shit, you know? And I just was watching that last night and I was like, oh, I know that Smith family is fucking pissed. Of course, Jada Pinkett Smith's people have come out and said that it isn't true, but it wasn't much bite. It wasn't much teeth to that denial. I don't think Will Smith has come out and said anything, and I doubt that he will, because he's never spoken on this. You know, like I said, there's been rumblings of this before, and he's never really mentioned anything. It's always been that he just gonna let Jada do what she do, I guess. But I just was like, ooh. People were asking me, do I think that his career is over? I think that this is a nail in the coffin. I believe that that's going to be a problem for him. You know, I know that they got this August We Love You hashtag that's going around on Twitter or whatever. And that's all fine and good and cute. But in the grand scheme of things, and as time goes on, it's going to be them back boardroom deals. If his name ever comes up, it ain't going to happen for him. So he better get all that he can from this album that he got, this documentary, you know, all of the fluff around this interview that he has with Angela Yee. He better get everything that he can out of this now, because I just don't. The Smiths have a lot of power in Hollywood, a lot. And more specifically, Will Smith has a lot of power in Hollywood. And you got to remember that he has touched both industries. So, yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I believe it 100%. Y'all better stop underestimating, you know, the power of the 50-year-old cooch. We done whip that shit on you so tough. These poor kids don't even know what to do with themselves. Did you guys see the interview? I actually watched the whole interview. The actual interview was good. You know, the part about Jada Pinkett Smith actually was small. It always had some, you could tell that he was always kind of talking about her, but he didn't always mention her. You know, the first part of it, he's talking about his mom and his relationship with his mother, which actually was very cool. Some realizations that he's come to, basically that you can only, you know, accept your parents and do the best that they can. I tell you guys that all the time, you know. But then when he got to that Jada part, man, he couldn't even keep himself together. I was just like, ooh, this boy still ain't quite over Jada, you know. But he said that he could die. He could die tomorrow knowing that he had, fully gave the love. He's experienced the love like that. I was like, ooh-wee. Ooh-wee, that's a dangerous place to be. At first, before I saw the interview, I was like worried that he would maybe even do something harmful to himself. And even though I have that feeling kind of still in the back of my mind, after I saw the interview, I said, well, no, maybe not. It feels like he's on the recovery part of that love, of that relationship. He was down in the depths of it when he got sick. And then he finally realized that is not going to help him improve his life. So now he's trying to come out from that. And whatever his truth is that he has to give out to everybody, I mean, I guess that's what it is. But I just was like, yes, 100% believe it. Of course the Smiths are going to deny it. But yeah, I believe it. This boy has no reason to lie. None. Okay? If anything, this is going to harm him. So yeah, I believe it. Believe it 100%. But boy, I bet you that damn Smith household, I know they is sick. He's fragile, but it seems like he's trying to come out on the other side of it. How do you guys feel about this whole thing? Do you feel sorry for August Alsina? Do you believe that Jada Pinkett Smith may have preyed on this boy? Don't you guys remember the interview that she did where she said that he was like Tupac? He reminded her of Tupac because, he had many, many hits and, he was just so reflect. I was like, girl, Tupac. So that also made me feel like she probably had a relationship with Tupac back in the day when she always said that she didn't. Okay, but I said, girl, you was really deep in the throes of that post-coital delusion, huh? I always side-eyed that. I even told you guys about that back when she said he's like Tupac. Girl, if you don't cut it out. I don't really feel sorry for August Alsina, only because you went into this fully knowing. Yes, you're younger. You had older people who have way more and have experienced way more and, lived a whole different life than you. Those people also took advantage of you. But you were an adult and you decided to sleep with this married woman. Okay. And so I feel like if that was the decision that was made and you guys had agreed that this is what it was, then why go tell now that it has gone south and there's no chance for reconciliation or that you guys would ever get back together? You decide to tell people. That's not cool either. But yeah, you guys, I 100% believe it. 100%. And I believe the other stories that we've heard about Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith as well. And then we had Tisha Campbell Martin with her old messy ass insert herself into it and say, basically that it was true. The truth always comes out. Of course, people are going to deny it, but basically they're not going to be able to. And so people knew that she was talking about that situation. I had to side-eye Tisha because I was like, girl, at one point you was all up in it with him. You was fine when it was, you was married to Dwayne and you was benefiting from it. Dwayne getting loans from Will Smith and all of this. Now that you and Dwayne aren't together, now all of a sudden you want to talk about the Smiths being so bad. When you were some kind of way participating in the bullshit back when you was with Dwayne. So miss me with that. Then she gonna try to come back out and say, I don't do messy. I don't be in the mess, all of this. Bitch, you was messy when you said it to begin with. Yeah, I talked about that for a long time, but y'all, I was so tickled about it because I was just like, oh, then finally, I've been trying to tell y'all for years that this girl was fucking that boy. Y'all, stranger things happen in Hollywood. We just have to get our minds out of thinking that just because it's Will Smith and we done seen him in, all of these touching movies where he's made us cry, that him and his wife still don't engage in these other activities. Okay, so let me know what you guys think. Let me move on to my next subject. All right, you guys, so they say that Nicole Young, who was the long-suffering wife of Andre Young, better known as Dr. Dre, for 24 years, she went and filed for divorce. After 24 years and 4 days of marital bliss, she filed for divorce, citing irreconcilable differences. They have children together, but of course their children are grown and gone. However, Nicole will be asking for spousal support, as she has been there, and as far as I know, hasn't really worked like that. I mean, she ain't, take a part-time job at Walmart greeting or nothing like that. So she's going to be asking for spousal support. Guess what? No prenup. No prenup. And if you guys remember, Dr. Dre is worth somewhere near, very close to $1 billion. I think they said his net worth is $980 million. And if you're familiar with the laws in California, then you know that Nicole Young stands and probably will get at least half of that. It's a whole bunch of fucking money. Okay? And she's gonna get it. She'll definitely get it. And like I said, may even get more property and other things. I mean, the wife stands to get a lot in this case. If I know anything, I know that Dr. Dre's lawyers are trying to tell him that he needs to try to figure it out, work it out with that wife, because it is cheaper to keep her. We will always remember Juanita Jordan, who got half of Michael Jordan's money when they divorced. Deserved every fucking penny of it. Because she went through a lot with Michael Jordan, okay? And you can't tell me that Nicole Young ain't been through a whole bunch with Dr. Dre as well. She's been there from the beginning when he built his empire. She was in the gym shooting, with him. So, yeah, she's gonna get that money. She's gonna get that money, and she is gonna be sitting pretty. I'm sure she's been through a lot. So yeah, you guys, I was shocked, but not really shocked to read that. I think I was shocked more so that he actually let her get to the point where she was just like, I can't take this shit no more. So looks like all's well that ends well there. Dr. Dre and Nicole Young, it's a wrap. Essence magazine, we've all loved Essence magazine, the brand. It was a magazine that always applauded the black woman, the betterment of black women, that black girl magic, if you will. We read the articles, we saw the pictures, the editorials, the spreads. We were proud to be black women. That's what Essence magazine has meant to many of us over the years. Well, they say if you worked there, you wouldn't feel that way. Okay. And as a matter of fact, the environment was so bad that an anonymous group of women had to form where they felt that they were safe enough to speak out against all of the bad things that's happening at Essence magazine. A group called Black Female Anonymous has demanded that the CEO, Richelieu, I think is his name, Dennis, he is the founder of Essence Ventures, along with other things that Essence is related to. They demanded that he resign. They said that he is, quote, driven by greed and a debaucherous sexual appetite, end quote. I said debaucherous. What the fuck is Mr. Dennis doing down there? Evidently, he was running the fuck amok. And they said that people who thought that Essence was one way, that the brand has been taken over by corruption, by people who have stolen the culture, corporate greed, abuse of power, you name it. They say it's all going down there at Essence. They also say that anybody that works in journalistic media knows that this is going on at Essence magazine, but has chosen to ignore it all this time because that's just what they've done. But these black women, the Black Female Anonymous, are tired of it. So they have called for his resignation. At first, Essence magazine said that it was a gross misrepresentation of the truth and that he would not be leaving. 5 days later, he resigned. Okay. Then they changed their tune a little bit and said, okay, well, he was always just kind of temporary. They had just put him in place in March after there was a woman who had just retired or left, and he got that spot. But they kind of made it seem like they never intended on him being there that long anyway. And now they have put in this other woman. I think her name is Caroline Wanga. She will be the interim CEO until they can figure it out. However, I guess Mr. Dennis was cutting up. Now, they said it was a conflict of interest also because his wife was head of HR, so I guess it always felt like anytime grievances was brought to HR, if his wife is signing off on grievances that's brought against her own husband, then you can see where the problem would be there. I think it's unfortunate because Essence Magazine, like I said, I've always kind of applauded and upheld that magazine as something, you know, special to the black woman. But, you know, you sitting here reading this article about it and you thinking to yourself like, fuck, it's just everywhere, right? Niggas just can't be right nowhere. Mr. Richelieu Dennis is out. We'll see if any lawsuits or anything else comes out of this, you know, this demand for resignation. All right, you guys, so Terry Crews, dumbass. I don't really have the energy to keep talking about Terry Crews. I think this is going to truly be the last time that I talk to him. We're going to have to retire him, okay? I didn't even bother to get the tweet, the actual tweet that he said, but I'm going to paraphrase it for you. He basically said, now, you know, we didn't know he done said all kind of shit, black supremacy, and now, you know, some other shit. Him basically trying to cozy up to the NBC execs, you know, the white folks there on his America's Got Talent production crew and all of them. Okay, now he done decided to tweet one morning or one afternoon, one evening, that he's got all kind of people in his family, you know, race, creed, color, religions, and orientation. You know, he loves them all. He said, but we got to make sure that hashtag Black Lives Matter does not become hashtag Black Lives Better. What the fuck is wrong with Terry Crews? This monkey ass nigga. First of all, ain't nobody never said none of the shit that Terry Crews is saying. I have never heard nobody say anything about no damn black supremacy. And I've sure as fuck have never heard nobody say Black Lives Better. Do you not understand that we just trying to matter? Like the comedian from Saturday Night Live said, black folks are just trying to matter. Okay? Matter. We not trying to say that we better. You have never heard a black person say, we feel better than you. We are saying that we want equal treatment when it comes to many, many things, including driving down the street, getting stopped by a police officer, and then 2 days later, our family is planning a funeral for us. We want just the basics that everybody else got. Nobody ever fucking said that black lives are better. And see, when he says things like that and puts that out there in the air already, it first of all, it gives the other side that, like, oh, see, even the black guy knows that, you know, some black people are trying to say that they're better than us. Why does he keep doing that? Because he's trying to make white people comfortable. Listen, Black Lives Matter is not a comfortable subject. I will even admit that. But it is what you need to hear. And even that is sad that I have to say that me trying to just be equal to somebody else and shit, I ain't did nothing to nobody, but me having to say that it's uncomfortable for me to even demand equality is sad in and of itself, because we have been so conditioned to not ever feel equal in anything that when we ask, it's just sort of like when you was little and you used to be like asking your mom for something to drink and you already knew your mom was gonna say no. You know, he is just so fucking... Child, he not fixing to get my pressure up. But I was just like, Terry Crews is just stupid. And then he went on to Roland Martin. And you can tell that Roland Martin must be a friend of Terry Crews's, because I feel like Roland Martin has pinned people to the wall way more than he decided to pin Terry Crews. He let Terry Crews get up there and talk for 35 minutes of nothing. Terry Crews got up there and said that he has always questioned things from when he was a child, and, you know, he always gonna put the question out there. He don't want to be silenced and all. That's just like, what the fuck are you talking about? Nobody said that you can't ask questions. Okay? But you out here making blanket statements for black people who do not feel the fucking same as your stupid ass. You know, I feel like Terry Crews knows that he has a group of white people that are watching him, and he just wants to make sure that they know that he's the good black. I'm the good black. Okay, I know good white people out there and everything, and I'm just, I'm making sure that you guys' voices is being heard too. The good white people don't need you to be the spokesperson for them, Terry. Let them people be the ones that go and argue, because frankly, I'm tired of trying to explain why Black Lives Matter. Okay, I'm tired, and most black people are. So we don't need you out here trying to add to the shit by saying dumb ass shit that now we got to explain what the fuck Terry Crews said, and they just think that all black people is like him because he black. But trust me, Terry Crews is not like us. He's not like us black people. I don't know what the fuck to call him. Okay, because he clearly ain't white. Shit. But I can tell you that he is not a black person that I am proud of. I tell you, I'm so sick of Terry Crews. Like I said, I am not talking about him no more. I mean, he's just stupid. He is just stupid. And really, if the white folks want to take Terry at this point, you know, honorarily or whatever, y'all can have him. Go on and take him. Part docuseries coming out on BET called The No Limit Chronicles, and it is based on Master P's life, also him creating the No Limit record label and turning it into the conglomerate that it is today. Master P is paid, and I don't think people really realize all of the businesses that he has. They said that the label started as a passionate side job but turned into a multi-million-dollar business. And we know that Master P has spread himself across many business ventures. I decided to look up some of them and read them off here to you guys. They say that he has No Limit Records, of course, No Limit Sports, which is like a sports agency. It manages sports athletes. He has PM, Percy Miller Properties, where he invests in real estate as well as manages over 100 properties across the nation. He has Better Black Television, which is a cable television company, a network that he brought back in 2010, I think they said. He has No Limit Communications, which is a part of the telecommunications industry, I suppose. He has Make 'em Say, beverages. Nah. Dun, 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 dun. He has many franchises of different fast food restaurants, gas stations, car rim franchises. He has Foot Lockers. He has a travel agency. He has a film and television production company. Y'all tasted them Rap Snacks, right? Let me tell you, Mr. Joseph, love him some Rap Snacks. Very good chips. You've seen him in Walmart with like Cardi B and the Migos or on the covers. Good snacks. He has rice. He has, I think, mashed potatoes. I mean, he has noodles. Master P is fucking everywhere and making that serious guap, and unapologetically so. Okay, unapologetically black. And yes, we can definitely, I'm here for a 5-part docuseries. I mean, I've never been into too much of that New Orleans sound when it came to rap music, but you know, I do have my favorites from down there like everybody else. I mean, I'm proud of him. You know, he seems like he's too serious, and that has rubbed off on his son. You know, it doesn't seem like he's a barrel of fun, but he is definitely making that money. He's making it for his family. He's teaching his children how to be as well. And nothing can't knock that. Respect him tremendously. So yeah, the docuseries, like I said, will be coming on BET, 5 parts starting July 29th. Y'all make sure y'all check it out. Guys, the versus battle between Fabulous and Jadakiss. I did not watch it. I didn't have much interest in it. Like, I like Jadakiss and I like Fabulous. I like them both. However, if I was going to be watching, I already know that I would have leaned towards Fabulous. I'm just more familiar with his music. Jadakiss was that hardcore. I mean, of course, I know when he was with the Lox and when he was with Diddy and all of this. And like, I know Jadakiss songs as well. But maybe it was because he was like more of the hardcore New York rapper. And, you know, Fabulous was a little bit more smooth and mellowed out for me. And that's what I was consuming back then. But yeah, I like them both. You know, I did try to watch the battle on YouTube, and it was just so New York. I mean, you guys, it was, for no disrespect to my New York rock stars, but I'm gonna tell you, you New York people, y'all represent, and you can always tell a New York person They was just so New York, and I was just like, I don't know these songs, and all of the songs sound the same, and Jadakiss was fucked up. Okay, it's supposed to be sponsored by Ciroc, but they keep on talking about Douce. You know, Fabulous gets up and rapping and, you know, saying his little stories in between, and Jadakiss, you know, just wanted to be about the music and all of this. But I mean, Jadakiss was drunk, and it was just like a lot. And after like 35 minutes, I was like, okay, enough. I done got the gist of it. I didn't even get to the point where Fabulous is telling the story about Ashanti and Tamia both being on that song, and supposedly Tamia couldn't do it, or there was a problem because she had throat surgery, and she had to come out and say no, she did not have no damn throat surgery. Lying. Maybe he just misremembered, if that's a word. But yeah, I didn't watch it. I just didn't have any interest. But you know, the few songs that I was listening to, I was like, I don't know. It's just the same sound, you guys. I mean, I guess that's the same way people from New York would feel about, like, if you had to sit through like a West Coast battle of maybe DJ Quick and who could I say, maybe Ice Cube or something. If they had like a battle of their, not Ice Cube and NWA, Ice Cube himself and DJ Quick, which DJ Quick would win that anyway, but that's neither here nor there. But like, if you're not used to that sound, like that West Coast sound, like over and over and over again, and maybe that's how y'all would feel from New York listening to that. Because I was just like, child, it's a whole bunch of so no, I didn't watch it. But you guys let me know what you thought about it. Did you enjoy it? And who did you say won? And then lastly, you guys, I guess congratulations are in order to Nene Leakes. They say that she has a show that's coming on the E! channel. It is entitled The Glam Squad Showdown, okay, and it's going to be produced by Shed Media. And this looks like this was the big thing that Nene has been working on, because she was about to get the axe from Real Housewives of Atlanta. Had to make sure that she secured some sort of bag, and this is what she did. I was like, this show kind of sounds like the same idea that Tamar's show was, which still hasn't come on. When is Tamar's show supposed to come on, you guys? Wasn't she supposed to be doing something with glam squads as well, like traveling from place to place? So I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I know that Tamar's was a beauty show as well, right? Well, that's neither here nor there. Nene's show, this is a competition show, and she's going to be going to, along with another host, she's going to be going to different celebrity glam squads so that they can showcase their skills, and then it will all happen in front of a live studio audience, and that's supposed to be interactive, and you know, so everybody's supposed to be feeding off the energy of the different glam squads, right? So I mean, it definitely sounds trivial enough where she can have a good time, you know, ain't gotta worry about arguing with bitches and all of that. It can definitely be all about Nene, or you know, her and her host, but she'd be able to showcase her big personality. Maybe this is something that she needed, you know, because it was starting to get too toxic on Real Housewives of Atlanta. She has been complaining all of this year, so let her just go and do this. This also might be further confirmation that she will not be on Real Housewives of Atlanta, you know, and maybe she's gonna just focus all of her attention on that over there, that show over there. So I mean, congratulations to her. Look, I don't want bad things to happen to Nene, but you know, Nene was getting to the point where she was miserable, and she was making everybody else miserable. So if this is gonna be what it takes for her to become that person that we used to like, where Nene would just make us laugh, and you know, she was quick-witted, and she you know, was, you know, cute shade, fun shade, or whatever. If we can get back to that Nene, and if it has to happen with her being on a different show, then so be it, you guys, so be it. So congratulations to Nene Leakes. Hopefully this will make her happy. All right, you guys, let me get off of here. Jada has to use my car to go do somebody's hair. I got to get this girl a car so she can get out of my car. I'm gonna get off of here and get this edited and up to you. And happy Independence Day to you guys out there who are celebrating it. I know some people now are saying that since, you know, it's not really black folks Independence Day, that they aren't going to celebrate it or whatever. So if you're not celebrating, then that's not for you. But if you are celebrating the Independence holiday, then happy 4th of July to you guys. All be safe out there. And remember that we need to be social distancing. Please don't get sick with the Rona while you out there trying to shoot off fireworks. So I'm gonna get off of here, you guys. We do this every single week. So make sure that you rate, comment, and subscribe, and make sure you come back. Until next time, rock stars. Bye.